Hi, I'm Ryan Hunter, and this is Kalispell Connections, a program where we talk about issues important to the community. And with me today is Dorothy Drury, the Executive Director of the Kalispell Education Foundation. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. So just to start off, what does the Kalispell Education Foundation do?
Sure. The Kalispell Education Foundation exists primarily in whatever way we can to support Kalispell Public Schools, the teachers, the students, the administration, and to support excellence in our schools.
That's through grant programs, as I understand it. Is that correct? And how much money
Yes.
do you typically give out on a given year?
Yeah, absolutely. So primarily what we have done since our inception is we offer annually the opportunity for teachers or staff members to apply every fall for up to $2,000 in grant monies. And that gives them the opportunity to see, a challenge that they have in their classrooms or an opportunity for growth that is innovative, and but perhaps the funding is not available through traditional, state, federal, or local means. So it really gives teachers the chance to take ownership over a challenge they might have, and do something really cool in their classrooms. That might be, math games for third graders, because third grade has been identified at this school as a place where perhaps those scores start to drop, and recognizing that a traditional curriculum may not be enough for those students, and so putting something fun in there to engage the mind in a different way gives then that teacher to just try something new that they wouldn't be able to do without the support of the Education Foundation. And so, yeah, that's traditionally been what we've done in the past. We also support, we try to, give some shout outs to our teachers. We support them through Teacher Appreciation Week. This last January, we partnered with, I swear they are just right here, just a few left over. Sweet Peaks partnered with us, and we handed out ice cream cone gift cards to all of the teachers at the beginning of 2021 as a just huge thank you for the massive effort that they have put forth to make sure that school has happened this year. So we're there to support the district. We work with the superintendent and the administration to identify needs, but we are all big fans of teachers and proud supporters of the public education, the great public education that the children of Kalispell have here in the Valley.
Yeah, what a great way to support teachers. And the funding that you use for these grant funds, where does it come from? Is that something you go out in the community and raise, or how do you come up with the money each year to fund these projects?
So it's varied in the past, but primarily our supporters are individuals in the community, businesses in the community who are who recognize the importance of public education. Often from the businesses in our community, they really see the direct correlation between what the graduates look like and what their hiring pool is. But for it's often our public school families, but we receive gifts from individuals across the community, and that determines truly how much we're able to support each year. So in the past, we've received requests from teachers, perhaps 10 to 20 grant requests a year, totaling $20,000 to $30,000 of need. And in the past, we've only been able to fund about half of that.
In terms of the programs that have been funded, do you have some some favorites, some
Mhm.
ones that you particularly enjoy or were excited about?
They're all so great. It really, I think, as a board, so I was a previous board member, and as a board member, and I think many of the board members of the Kalispell Education Foundation feel this way. The day that we review grant applications is just the most inspiring, hopeful, sometimes emotional day, because I think, I sometimes feel I'm 20 years out of, I think I'm 20 years out of high school. I don't even know anymore. And I went to these schools. And so I feel like I have a sense of what's happening in there. I have no idea. School has changed so much since I went to school. And the cool, just, innovative from perhaps social emotional perspective to, just like how agriculture has changed and how uh, technical and innovative it is. It's just so cool what is going on in our schools. And I think as community members, we really don't have an insight to that. So the foundation would also like to figure out a way to share some of, to help the schools share what's going on. But anyway, so I have so many favorites. One in particular that stood out to me from last year was one of the librarians over at the middle school requested these stools that are intended for students who have a hard time sitting still. And I can remember, as someone who does not have a hard time sitting still, being so distracted and annoyed by the kids who were having a hard time sitting still, making sounds, particularly during middle school, particularly middle school boys. And then I would say my husband probably had a very, very hard time sitting still. And these stools have been shown to, because you can move around on them and sort of get that energy out. And they've been shown to help students who have a hard time sitting still concentrate. And so as a board, for us, that was just an absolute yes. We're excited to support. No, thank you. I have my own 5-year-old who's having a hard time sitting still. You need to ask your dad.
I had a cat jumping in my lap just a moment ago. So it's product of
Thank you.
interviews. Yes.
Right. Not a closed space. But yeah, so these stools, so we were able to fund these stools. And I think she said within maybe a day, every single one had been checked out. And so how the process worked is just like books, the stools could be checked out from the library. Teachers could identify students who might benefit from having this outlet for their energy. And yeah, every single one was checked out and used for the rest of the year until the pandemic ended everything. But I love the idea of something that, it's an innovative solution for a common problem, especially at that age, and was immediately used by students. And the great part of that particular grant is those stools will then be used by students as long as they're functional.
I read about the Ascent program too that you fund that, is a little bit more than just in the classroom, right? I mean, that's looking
Yes.
at, I was reading some family intervention and stuff with struggling adolescents. So that's, it goes beyond just the classroom work as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Our schools are asked to do truly more than I think what we wish schools were only responsible for sometimes. But our schools are so instrumental in a child's development from kindergarten through high school. And that doesn't just include their academic growth. I think of it, especially as I now see my own kids in school, as the opportunity to learn how to be a citizen in a society in which you get to figure out how to respect authority, but also how to question authority. um, and how to fit in all of those different emotional needs that our teachers are asked to do. So being able to fund a program that has, it's, the idea came from Montana Academy, which is a school out in Marion, but that really looks at, the whole brain, the whole emotional growth of a child. And I think something that really has resonated with me recently, we meet with a superintendent frequently, and Micah Hill is just so passionate about every single student. And to him, it is not optional to allow a student, even one, to fail in school. That there has to be a path. It may not look like a traditional path, but there has to be a path to get them into the next phase of their life, being adulthood, which is the rest of their life. So, so the Ascent program certainly is something that we were happy to support this year.
And you used to serve on the board of the foundation, and now you recently became the executive director. Can you talk about that transition and maybe how your role is a little bit different with the organization now?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually did have an executive director when I first joined the board, and it was a shared position that the district was actually, it was a position within the school district. And so that person was a part-time executive director of the Education Foundation, and then also served as the district's communications person. And that role was eliminated due to one of many funding deficiencies. And so that was eliminated a couple of years ago. And at that time, the foundation was, I think, having some growing pains. And so a core group of us just decided we were just going to, that it was too important to let go of, because we didn't have an executive director, and we just really committed to continuing on a path of growth with the foundation, and making sure that these grants could still be available to teachers and their students. And with the idea that eventually the foundation would independently from the school district hire an executive director. And so we reached that point really earlier last year, and waited it out a little bit with the pandemic to decide what that was going to look like. And they offered me the opportunity back in November. And it's truly part-time, very part-time. And our board is incredibly committed to doing a lot of the work. So I am a hired member of the foundation, but our work is great and done by many.
And what are your future goals? Where would you like to get the foundation to in the next, say, 5 years of work?
So a lot of our research has been focused on other education foundations and what are some potentials, and then what our district needs are, and what they need from an education foundation. And so in the next 5 years, I think more short term, we would love to be able to promise an amount to our teachers every year. So our goal is to consistently give out $20,000 in grant funds a year. And that does not cover the number of requests that we receive, but we haven't been able to do that in the past. So moving forward, we'd like to set that as our baseline of being able to honor that number of requests. And we would also like to expand our programming into other areas of need. And we're working with the district to determine what that might look like. Education foundations are, I think, best tailored to the district. And so there are some education foundations that support curriculum development. There are some education foundations that support teacher development. There are some education foundations that support actual positions, which is not a direction that we're looking to move to. But I think just expanding our programming and looking at what that might look like, since our district consistently has incredibly great needs, would like to give our community the opportunity to continue the efforts of excellence that our district has for our kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the need is there, and I'm so glad that the Kalispell Education Foundation is there to support our teachers, support our schools. So thank you, Dorothy, so much for the work you're doing and your whole team there at the foundation. And thank you for talking with me about this evening.
Oh, well, Ryan, I just so appreciate that you are talking with our community and you're out there asking these questions and helping us get the word out that our community is there. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time.